Welcome to Toot Your Own Horn Music Matters. Today I'm here with Ricky Latham. Welcome.
Thank you.
So glad you are here to tell us your story about how you chose your instrument. How did you choose the clarinet?
So it started in elementary school, I believe in third or fourth grade, and we had band directors come in with a whole collection of different instruments. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't know, however, that I wanted to play an instrument just because I thought it was really cool. So I'm going around the room, selecting all these instruments that I want to try, and I can do all of them except for saxophone. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't play the saxophone. I couldn't make a sound out of it at all. I think it had to do with my mouth structure and just the embouchure and everything. But I got to clarinet and it was super, super easy. Everything else was super easy except for percussion. That one was a little rough. But everything else was fine, flying colors. So I didn't know what to do. However, my sister played clarinet before me, so she had a clarinet already. So I chose clarinet because she had already been playing clarinet and she stopped, and so we had this clarinet in our house somewhere, and so we pulled it out, got it all fixed up, and so I had this pretty scrappy Armstrong clarinet that I played on for a really long time from elementary school through the first year of my high school
Oh, wow.
band career. Yeah, I played on it for a long time until I finally upgraded to a buffet clarinet. I started taking lessons in my freshman year of high school, and then my private teacher decided that I should probably get a new clarinet. So
Hmm. And did you like your band director?
went through a couple of different band directors. I'm from Mason City, Iowa, and we had a bigger music program. I don't know if you know that that's where The Music Man was written, filmed. That's where Meredith Willson is from. So it's super, super exciting that we have kind of that music
Mhm.
community already built in there. So we already have a really good program that's there and it's thriving. I had a whole bunch of band directors there. My first one was Beth Frenchick, and she played French horn, euphonium, violin, basically all of the instruments because they kind of had to. So she was my first band director, and I just remember lessons being super fun. I wasn't that good, but it was always super fun to go into a lesson and just learn some new things. I learned how to keep squeaking on my clarinet. Basically, each year after that, until middle school, so the first 2 or 3 years of school band, I had a different director every time. Middle school, then I had another one, and then eventually in high school, I had my main band director for 4 years, Russ Kramer.
Mhm. And what made you want to take lessons and keep going?
So I didn't know what my career path would be in high school. I didn't know if I wanted to do something in the sciences, like epidemiology was my first thing that I was gravitating towards. My interest and kind of hobby in languages. I was studying languages throughout middle school and high school as well. And then I was in the top ensemble for high school. I didn't even know what I was doing. I went to rehearsal and people were congratulating me, saying that it was so hard to get into that ensemble as a freshman. But I had no idea what was going on. So apparently something was going right because I remember all of those clarinets were pretty good. And so I showed up and did my thing, and all of a sudden I was in this top ensemble. And then my band director, Russ Kramer, suggested that I take lessons.
Mhm.
So I'm taking lessons with Harvey von Wald now, and my skill level has just risen exponentially, just exploded. I was last chair in the symphonic band at my high school to third or fourth in the matter of a semester, pretty much after, or I guess after a year of taking just a lesson, just these private lessons for 30 minutes after school, once a week. And I remember preparing these etudes for my private teacher, and they were just so, I just didn't know how to practice. and he would have me come in every day after school and practice with me. Free,
Oh,
just wanted me to come in so I could learn how to practice. And that helped shape the clarinet player I am today, how I practice. Of course, I'm still refining my practicing techniques. It's an ever-going process. But he would just keep drilling these patterns into me. I remember playing the Selected Studies by Bachman
mhm.
every week, working on the same etude for 2 to 3 weeks because I just couldn't get them. So he would have me come in every day after school for about a month to get these etudes learned. And then my junior year, I decided that I wanted to do the Iowa All-State Festival. It's one of the biggest in the country. Texas also has a really big one, but Iowa's is huge. It has the entire festival combines the middle school Opus honor choirs, the All-State choir, All-State orchestra, and like a 300 piece band. I mean,
Wow.
there's it's huge, and we go to Ames, Iowa, to Iowa State University and play in the Coliseum there because there's just not enough space for us all. So we're just in this huge space, and it was after that I decided that clarinet is what I wanted to do.
What was it about that experience?
It was one of those moments where it solidified that I am good enough to do this and go wherever I want to go. It really helped solidify that idea. And so I just didn't want to stop there. So I kept doing it. I did All-State my last year as well. And that just cemented it even more because I moved up. My first All-State experience, I was third, fourth clarinet in like this in the back row. And then my senior year, I went from third clarinet to first clarinet, like 11th chair, which is a huge jump. There's I think, like 40 clarinets. I mean, there were a lot. So
Wow. And so that performing experience did it for you in terms of putting your other interests aside.
absolutely. Yep. It was that experience that really opened my eyes to that is what I wanted to do. I didn't really care about anything else other than just learning my instrument, performing, practicing, because I saw what the community was and how fun it could be. So, like other times in high school, we went to Canada for a band trip. We went to St. Louis, and I thought that was super fun to go and share what we were doing with other schools in the country and Canada.
Hmm. And your family was supportive.
Absolutely. Yep.
Were there any musicians in your family?
Other than my sister playing clarinet through middle school, no.
Hmm.
And then my younger sister did clarinet for a little bit, but that was it. I'm the only one that really does music.
How did you choose your undergraduate school?
My mom went to the University of Northern Iowa for her psychology and her master's in social work. And so I just decided to look at the programs there and I auditioned, got in, and that's how it went. I knew that I wanted to play clarinet, and as long as I could do that at a school somewhere, a decent school somewhere, then that was fine. That's what I wanted to do. So that's basically how I chose it was my mom went to UNI, so I'll go to UNI.
What were you thinking you were going to do with it at that time? And
I
how?
had no idea.
Yeah.
Just wanted to play in ensembles, take lessons, and that's what I wanted to continue doing.
And no one in your family or you were worried about making money?
No,
No, that's awesome. I mean,
no, I just wanted to play clarinet.
so how has that evolved and where has that taken you?
So after I went to Bowling Green State University in Ohio to get my master's with 𝐓𝐶𝐵 and I was teaching as well. I started my little private studio, but I also was working at the high school and middle school at the same time, doing mostly like clinicking is how I would describe it. I would go and help the clarinets with their ensemble music, their solo and small ensemble music, and I was in there 2 to 3 times a week. I'm really happy that I got that experience and that kind of connection because those kind of connections don't really go away.
And so at this point, what are you thinking you're going to do with it?
I really want to teach. Right now, I'm at Michigan State University getting my doctorate in clarinet performance with 𝐲𝐬 𝐬𝐬. And I really want to teach collegiately, privately, and perform symphony orchestras or wind ensembles is what I would like to do.
And how long until you get your doctorate?
I have 2 years after this semester, 2 years left.
What will you choose to do if you can't find a college job?
I think I'll continue teaching privately, and then just keep taking those auditions because it seems like they're everywhere. They kind of are. You just have to look for them. There's the smaller regional orchestras. I mean, there's really orchestras everywhere. Michigan has quite a lot of orchestras that I could audition for, and even the smaller regional ones. I just want to perform and teach. Even if I don't get that college job, that's what I would like to do.
What do you like about teaching?
I learn just as much from my students as my students learn from me. So I will never ask a student, when is your lesson? Or like, when can you have your lesson? I always say the words, when is our lesson? Because I'm always learning from them and they always have good insights. And it's helping me refine my teaching skills, my clarinet playing. Because if they don't have a role model to look up to, who are they going to look up to? I need to set some kind of standard for them so they can keep growing. And so that's my biggest thing with private teaching is that I'm learning just as much from them.
Mhm. That reminds me of the definition of the word connoisseur, which if you look up a translation for it, it means to be in the way of knowing, right? And so like expertise and connoisseurship to me is very similar in that you want to always be present and learning more. And when you're teaching, I think that gives you that opportunity to always be observing
Mhm.
and like a sponge, like they
Right.
are, absorbing
Yeah.
all of the information.
Yep. Exactly.
And you surround yourself with it. And I think that's the thing about clarinet or music in general. I think people get really hooked on the consumption of it because it's such a vast field and there's so much you could get from it.
Yeah. It's hard to explain to people exactly what I do because I do everything. What do you do in music? Well, I teach, I perform. I'm also working as well. I'm practicing. I'm constantly talking with people. So it's not just me sitting by myself in a practice room. I'm doing a little bit of everything, theory, oral skills. So it is pretty extensive trying to educate people that it's not just practicing, it's not just performing, it's a lot more than just that.
How do you think people can better understand the desire to play a wind instrument?
For me, it was I just wanted to do it. And so for other people to kind of understand that, because they're not quite like in the same music world as we are, but they still listen to music. You can't get around not listening to music. Music's absolutely everywhere. It's in, I mean, advertisements. It's in movies everywhere.
What's the difference
And
between listening to it and doing it?
listening to music, I guess, is more passive,
Mhm.
and then doing music is more active.
Because you also have to put yourself out there a lot more to be willing to try.
Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of putting myself in front of the firing squad
Mhm.
because people don't quite understand it. So trying to explain what I do is tough because they're like, "Oh, that's so cool. Like, what are you going to do with that?" I'm going to teach. Well, how are you going to teach? And how are you going to make money off of that?
Yeah, it seems to me like a lot of people don't understand it because they've had no experience with it, or the experience they had with it was so long ago that they can't understand how they can benefit from it.
And I've seen more and more people coming back to
Mhm.
their wind instrument that they chose so long ago. They said, "Oh, I played in elementary and middle school, but I haven't touched it in a while, and I'm thinking about getting back into it." And I'm seeing more and more of that. And I think with the time that we've had, especially during COVID, people have looked inside of themselves and seen that they can do things that they've always wanted to do or continue doing in addition to what they already do.
Mhm. It's a really miraculous thing to play a wind instrument. If somebody was listening to this and said, "Gosh, I think I might want to try again," what would you say to them to get them to want to pick up a wind instrument and try to play it right now?
I think just do it. Just start it. There's nothing stopping you from just starting. I mean, I'm starting oboe right now, and I think it's a blast. I mean, I'm just squawking away. I know I'm terrible at it, but I think it's so much fun because I already have the clarinet down. I might as well just add something else just to make it more fun. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you do it? I think it's a blast. I owe a lot to Harvey Von Wald for making me practice every day after school. So he did a lot for me.
He inspired you
Yep, exactly.
and made you want to try.
Hmm.
That's awesome.